How's it going, everyone? It's time once again for a weekly watch list. What this is my favorite setups, the exact levels I'm watching for the upcoming week with my game plan. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to my channel, click that thumbs up button, click that bell icon so you do not miss on any upcoming videos. Alright, let's get right into this. First off, I want to point out last week was not my best week. I had 2 red days in a row. The price action was tough, but spending a little time going back through some things, and one thing that stayed the same was SPX levels, basic support and resistance. So for this coming week, that's what I'm going to focus on more than anything, whether I'm trading SPY based off these levels or whether I'm trading ES futures based off these levels. I went through, marked out my support and resistance areas of confluence here on SPX. These are based off the higher time frames, the most obvious levels I could see. That's what the majority of people would be focused on, the most obvious levels. So that's what you have here. We're just going to keep it very simple this week in this trade. Support and resistance, watch for signs of reversal with volume and price action based off these levels you see here. I probably will trade SPY options and ES futures. I do have some solid individual stock setups as well. Possible swing trades. We'll talk about them in just a minute. Okay, so here's my SPY levels, ticker SPY. Now, we avoided the government shutdown, right? So, I'm not going to be biased and based anything off that, but if we do have a nice push up, I'll be looking to go long above this 431.85 as far as key levels go. We could very well reject that, so wait on clear confirmation before we go long above that level. I would love to see us fill this gap in the near future at that 438.43. Seriously doubt that would happen in one day, but it's possible. As bounce levels go, 420.72 is the closest support we have on the daily time frame. It looks solid, but the level I like better, stronger looking levels at 415.9, 416 area for calls. So that being said, we'll look for a bounce at 420.72 if we fail that. Next bounce area is 415.94 for calls. This area looks solid. Definitely more confidence than that. I see the 420.7, but with the right confirmation, I will give that a try. Now, let's talk about individual stocks for a minute. Let's take a look at Target. You can see it's just been beaten down, right? Sell off after sell off. Now, we're coming down. Let's just take a quick look at the weekly. We're showing some signs we could see a bounce here, right? You can clearly see the buyers pulled that up last week. I'm going to look for entry above 112.75 for calls once we get up there. That being said, this could be a longer term trade for me. This is just a trade ideal. If it doesn't match your criteria, just stay away from it. But for me to get out of this trade, even if I entered in this area here, I'd have to have a weekly close below that 108.15 for this trade to be invalid, right? So as long as we didn't have a weekly close below that, I would be okay holding. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we seen that 122.25 during this trade, but position yourself accordingly. Trades like this, they need to have a big move to make the proper risk to reward because, if we close below that 108.15, that's going to be a decent sized loss, right? So you have to factor in, you need a 100% plus move to the upside to justify a trade like this. You need to go further out in expiration, probably 3-month plus in expiration. Pay attention to the Greeks, make sure that is not going to kill your premiums. Things like that's what I look for when choosing the appropriate option. Also, I look at open interest. You have to have, decent spreads. Make sure there's liquidity there as well. Just a trade ideal. Let's take a look at Apple, ticker AAPL. This is another trade ideal I have. I'm looking for us to push on down to this 160 to 157.5 area. That's where I want to start adding possibly to my long term there and for possible leaps. We'll see what it looks like when we get down there. If we get down there, we could very well bounce here, but I would love to see a pullback down to this area to add. I'm sure a lot of long-term investors are looking for a nice pullback to add to their Apple position. Very, very good stock in my opinion. And that's all I'm watching really. Hopefully these trade ideals help you out. Remember, I'm going to be focused on SPX levels more than anything this week, because price action was rough last week. I think we can all agree some of them candles was just stop loss hunters, right? So let's focus on the SPX levels, let our trade confirm, have a game plan, and follow through. But yeah, this week's personal, 2 red days last week. I'm not trying to make up my loss, but I'm going to adapt and I'm going to overcome. So appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you next time.